Welcome back to the Nose Plays Darkest Dungeon. We are now on week 3 of our Radiant campaign, and today the goal is to take a brand new party into the dungeon. Um, we already collected our stagecoach members and upgraded our stagecoach to accommodate the next batch, so in order to continue that trend, we're going to need to collect some more deeds. Deeds are the thing to collect. In order to do that, let's go ahead and unequip the trinkets that we do have on heroes. And let's take a look at the dungeon choices. So, as I mentioned in the last video, it is always preferable to run a medium or long dungeon when you have an option. We do have an option here to run a medium dungeon, 100% of room battles. We're going to get 2 portraits, and we talked briefly about why portraits are better than anything except for deeds, because they trade for deeds at a pretty decent rate. I don't believe that we have a group that is capable of handling this particular dungeon level, difficulty level yet. We don't even have any level 3 heroes, let alone level 2 heroes that are fully kitted out with upgrades. So I would not recommend running medium veteran level dungeons until you have a full group of heroes that is at least leveled up to level 2 on all of their gear and abilities. It can be kind of a suicide mission if you do. The Feather Crystal is an interesting item. Speed and dodge are both interesting traits, and it might be a decent reward should we be able to accomplish it, but we don't have the manpower to do it quite yet. This, however, is very doable. We can trade this for some deeds if we need to. And this particular trinket is not particularly useful, but it does have its advantages in that -4 dodge is the probably least detrimental of the traits when equipped on the right hero class. So putting this on a hero that doesn't have any dodge to begin with can be of no consequence in terms of the negative penalties, just positive penalties. We did say we were going to attempt to run strictly new heroes in this dungeon, and I think we can do that, mainly because we did get a new frontliner that is pretty decent. He also has a spot heal, which can help us if we do get into trouble. So we'll probably grab him. Our back line is going to have the Houndmaster, I think. The Houndmaster does have a stress heal, which is useful, and a guard ability, which we can use to help focus the frontline damage on our Crusader, and the Crusader can use his protection buff to keep himself alive. So now we need to fill in 2 more spots. I don't think taking an Antiquarian is probably a wise idea. But we could take a Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter and one of these 3 Grave Robbers, probably. One of them kind of stood out as better than the rest, but let's see which ones might work better in the 3rd position, because that looks like where we're probably going to end up running her. He'll be fine in either of these positions. Yeah, he can run in the 2nd, or the 4th or the 3rd position. Lunge is an interesting ability. Shadow Fade gives a nice dodge buff, which can be very useful. Thrown Dagger and Poison Darts are both good because they can hit the back ranks, which is what we're looking for. So this might be our pick here. Let's take a look at the other two. This one's a little stronger from the 3rd position, but she only has the darts. She does have a Cure Blight or Bleed, but it doesn't actually heal health. And then this one has more range damage, but is missing the Throw Dagger. So yeah, I think we're going to take this one as our party member for backline damage. The nice thing about her interesting. She can actually remove a disease. That's interesting. I was unaware that the Grave Robber could remove diseases. I don't think we'll encounter a disease, but you never know. Curios can definitely carry diseases sometimes. Yeah, I think this is going to work for us. It's not the greatest party ever, but it'll suffice. We definitely need to start collecting more trinkets. We're going to go ahead and give the Houndmaster the Hound Whistle. That can be useful. I don't think any of our characters have 0 dodge this time. So I'm not sure that grabbing this is really worthwhile. This plus 10% debuff skill chance. Frontline characters tend to get debuffed a lot, so that might be useful for him. He's already got a really low speed, so he's likely to go last in any round anyways, which is fine. If we stack the damage on him, that means that all of our healers have a chance to heal first. Actually, we don't have any healers, do we? She doesn't have a heal, and he doesn't have a heal. He is the only character with a heal. Well, we'll have to make it work. We'll have to use the camp probably a little earlier in this round than we did in the last one to get some healing going. And we're really going to have to focus on damage fast and furious. Let's go ahead and get this over with. We are going to take all the food because the food is the only other way to heal. We'll take 2 shovels. I'm probably going to overcommit a little bit on items here. Just because we don't have a lot of ways to preserve health, so anything we can do to preserve health through items is going to be worthwhile. So we're going to take some holy water. I might even take a little bit more than normal. We'll take 6 of those. 3 keys and 1 of these just in case we run into a curiosity that can utilize it. Alright, here we go. Let's wish this new party good luck. Even if we have bad luck, that is absolutely okay. As long as we get out, and preferably if we can complete the dungeon, we can just ditch this whole party and we'll get a brand new group of 4 to replace them next week.
The fiends must be driven back. And what better place to begin than the seat of our noble line.
Once again, you'll notice that we started with 20 stress on all of our heroes because these guys are under-leveled for this. So level 0 in a level 1, that's 20 points of stress. The higher level dungeon you try to send somebody in that they're not prepared for, the more stress they're going to start with at the very, very beginning of the map. Let's take a look at this map. Okay. So as a medium dungeon, depending on scouting, what we may do is just try to run a loop and see how that goes. Okay. We're going to go ahead and just clear that damage. Nice crit. 1 off. Go go ahead and
As the
finish that
fiend
guy off.
falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Alright, so we get a knockback and a stun. What do caltrops do? Speed and accuracy debuff with a potential bleed. Bleeds don't really work so well in here. I think it's probably best to just go for the damage. We have a slight chance to kill this guy in one hit. And we do have some crit chance, so... one off lethal again.
Mortality clarified in a single strike.
Gonna Zealous Accusation and kill both of those. Should we do that, or should we run?
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Okay. These are very effective against things with high protection. Blights do not reduce their damage. From protection. Protection does not work on blights. So while it's reducing the damage that we're swinging with these guys, it's perfectly alright. We're going to go ahead and stress heal. Nice. And we'll try to... Okay, good. That's perfectly alright. We're going to get a turn of healing in. And another stress heal. I guess we'll use this.
Slowly, gently.
You may have noticed that we forgot to grab torches, and that was not by design. That was completely a mistake. However, because we're running this hero with the ability that can boost our torchlight, I'm not super concerned about it.
Even the cold
normally I would be very
seems
upset with
bent on
myself.
preventing passage.
The other reason that I'm not super concerned about it is his trinket works better when we are running darker anyways. So if we do happen to run part of this dungeon in the dark or in the dimmer light, it's not going to be the end of the world, because hopefully we'll get some more scouting done. Alright, we got some different options here. I think we want to just go for maybe the lucky crit and miss. That's no good. But it does increase our accuracy for a few rounds, so that's something. Caltrops. We can target both heroes with that. Bleeds don't work on the undead, but they will work on her. And she resisted both. That is unfortunate. We're going to put the guard on him, so anything that attacks the Houndmaster will actually end up attacking him, and we're going to use his protection buff to reduce the damage. Okay, I goofed this. He is actually guarding this character from being attacked. That was not by design. So I should have guarded the bounty hunter or the grave robber. Alright, let's try this again. We have 5 more accuracy this time and another miss. Now we get plus 10 accuracy. We're going to switch that to you. go well without a healer. We need to get a stun. That was good. Use our bandage. And try to get rid of this guy. Unable to do it. One off again. Alright, we really need to get some backline damage going here. This guy hasn't acted yet. We still have 3 actions that could go before him. We also need to stress heal, but she's got to go down. She's only got 4 hit points. This has a higher accuracy, and that should put her at lethal, except for the fact that she resisted the blight. This is just not going very well for us.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Alright. Just bad luck after bad luck here.
A singular strike.
Now she's dead. And we can focus on the back line. Caltrops aren't going to do a lot of damage. He has stun resistance for a turn. Does her dagger work better against marked targets? It does. We're going to go ahead and mark this and try and get a better throw with her in the next turn. This battle is just not going very well for us at all. Alright. More target, extra damage. Still not enough to drop him. We continue to take more damage from the enemy.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
I could attack and potentially kill this guy before he gets an action.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Alright, then.
Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely
3
a trick
ticks of
of the
damage.
light?
I think we'll eat it. Alright, let's hope we get something good here. That's not what we wanted. Extra stress if your hit points are lower than 50%. Well, that's just fantastic, isn't it? And we made it through the first room. This is going to be bad. We need to get some good luck here. Alright. Let's try to kill that
Another
spider.
abomination cleansed from our lands.
Did our dog not stress heal? He failed every stress heal. Oh, that's just fantastic.
Executed with impunity.
Alright. Scout, please. No scout. Things are getting a little bit hairy. Good thing we have shovels.
Back to the pit.
Alright, these mobs were much more suited to be able to handle.
Be gone, fiend. As victories mount, so too will resistance.
Okay, this is dangerous, but this is what we're gonna have to do. Okay. Unfortunately, we were surprised, but not awful.
Another one falls.
Alright, we can go and get rid of that guy.
Precision and power.
That's fine. Poison sucks. We're gonna have to guard him. And he's just gonna have to move. Fortunately, I do not have any anti-venom. Nice strike by the grave robber. Dodge by the spider there. We can go ahead and guard him again just so he doesn't get attacked, which he did. But the bonus dodge allowed us to remain safe. I don't want to kill this turn if I can. Nice dodge again. Go ahead and mark him for death. I think he's dead anyways on his next action. Okay. 1 point of damage. We're not going to worry about that. I'm going to go ahead and throw this down to give us some torchlight.
Remind yourself that
Fix our
overconfidence
party.
is a slow and insidious killer.
Whoops. Alright, there we go. Which one of these guys needs this? That would be you for sure. And one thing I haven't pointed out, these little symbols tell you whether or not you've used an item on that curio before and what kind of effect it had. So the little green plus means it's a healing curio, and this is a great time for one. Alright, so we've got a little bit of light, and we got a scout, so this is good. So we know we have 2 more battles. I don't think we're going to make it through 2 battles in our current state. We are almost halfway through the dungeon. I really don't want to use any more food except to camp, so I think we're going to go ahead and camp here. So this is what I was talking about earlier when I say if you have a rough start
without hope.
and you have food, you can heal up a little bit. Unfortunately, that means that we're not going to be able to heal near the end of this, so the other thing that it means is we may not want to reduce stress as much as find some buffs for our party. plus 25 damage versus size 2, plus 15 accuracy versus size 2. That's worth something. 30% scouting chance, I'll definitely take that. All companions minus 10 stress and minus 10% stress for battle. Take that. We can heal this guy a little bit. Prevents nightmare ambush. I think that's worth it. And it pretty much wipes our stress out. Only the Houndmaster has any stress left. And I think that's it. So we're going to have to go ahead and rest. But we won't get attacked for camping. So that was worth it.
In Radiance,
And
may
the nice
we
thing about
find
camping
victory.
is it replenishes your torchlight. So as long as we remember to use his ability each time we get into a combat, we should be able to maintain torchlight through most of this run. We also have much higher scouting chance now, which will be nice. We're not doing so good on the looting. Okay. Want to do here. We're very unlikely to be able to kill one of these guys in one shot, but maybe two. Yeah, it's going to be three, unfortunately. Two choices. Protection or try and kill one of these. Let's just eliminate damage from the field. Nice dodge. And another dodge, good. So that worked out pretty well for us. This has a very high accuracy, and if it does 1 point of damage, it will kill him.
A powerful blow.
Which it did, so he's dead before he gets to act. We can go ahead and guard the bounty hunter, who seems to be taking a lot of fire. Oh, I misjudged that by one hit point. I forgot, the blight from the Grave Robber isn't as strong as the blight from the Plague Doctor. So that was a miscue on my part. Well, he's dead next turn. So yeah, let's just drop that enemy. That frees up his action for this ability.
The way is lit. The path is clear.
Gives us some more light.
We require only the strength to follow it.
And maybe a crit. Nope. But within striking distance. Throw caltrops, or I can mark him. Marking's probably the only thing that's useful. Throw out a stress heal. No, just go for the bite. That'll work.
A death by inches.
Alright. And somebody needs to search this with holy water. Oh boy, all kinds of gems. Alright, this will be a fight. Dodge. Ugh. And that's unfortunate. The caltrops might be able to kill it. There we go. Gets rid of that for next turn. Do we run protection, or do we try to kill one of these? This one only has 8. That's a pretty good odds that we'll kill this thing in one swing. So let's get rid of that damage. Alright, we need to guard away her. Swing on that, put it within killing range. Tough decision here. Let's go ahead and guard her. Got 7. I really don't want to kill him yet, but I think we're gonna have to. Ah. Okay, dodge. Could caltrip, but I want to use his ability one more time to get the torch up. So I guess we'll mark.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Alright, there we go.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
I'm not sure what to drop. For 2 busts, we might just keep what we have. Okay.
Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
Well, we don't have a shovel. We are out of shovels already. This is going to add a bunch of stress and dim our light.
Without tools of iron,
That's unfortunate.
you must rely on flesh and indefatigable
We
purpose.
really don't want to find too many more of those. I'm going to go with the light. Nice strike by the bounty hunter. We should probably guard him because he's low on hit points and he does not have a lot of defense. Dodge. Alright.
Teetering on the brink, facing the abyss.
So we have a couple choices. We can heal her off of Death's Door. I think that's probably the best play. Use the guard on her this turn. And hope to get some good rolls on our dodges.
Masterfully
Well done.
executed.
Good crit. We could try to uppercut this guy. Stun resist is pretty low. Let's do that. That'll take his damage out for the round. And will give me a chance to use this ability. Bounty hunter's starting to take a lot of damage. It's kind of scary. Let's just get some damage on this guy. Good dodge by the bounty hunter. We might be able to clear this guy in one swing. And we did. Throw the mark on him. Bonus damage for marked targets. And a nice crit.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
Alright, we're gonna have to ditch this if we want to take the bus, but I think we'll just pass on the bus again. We already have 6 of them. Whoops. I forgot to use my keys. Ugh, and I have 4 of them. Well, that was obnoxious. Okay, we have 2 trapped hallways and a bunch of curios. We're just going to scout the curios. He has a really good disarm and he has a lot of stress, so that's the best choice. And I didn't click on him. I'm just goofing up left and right. That's no good. Let's see what we find here. Alright, just 100 gold. We're wasting torchlight. Alright, let's use the right one this time. Box of goodies, some food perhaps. No. I have enough food to give her 2, and we can still have a hunger event and not suffer any penalties. That sucked. Good thing we got that stress heal earlier. Alright, there's no battle in this room. And we definitely need a scout, which we got. 2 more battles. We are running dangerously low here. We might have to call this one a retreat. We can try to finish this last room, but I think if we fail to win the quest by finishing this room, which is unlikely that we will, we're probably going to have to clear at least one of these also. We're going to be in big trouble. We do have 2 dog biscuits, so let's use our dog biscuits and see if we can't... Okay. Eight. That's going to hurt. Oh, nice dodge.
Unwound.
So, dog biscuits. Now's the time. Also, everybody's gonna drink a holy water to boost their resistances. Alright, so the question is, do we clear this guy? We have to clear this guy. He'll AoE tack through our guards. So that's gotta go. He's gonna have to land a stun on one of these guys. And I'm gonna hope that this helps a little bit. Okay, we got a second round here. Lunge forward. Take that one down. Decent damage there. off of death's door. Good, and we got the first action. Gave us a little bit of a stress heal.
Ghoulish horrors. Brought low
We'll
and
throw that
driven
down.
into the mud.
Pick up the alright. Got
A
a
fortune.
torch.
Waiting to be spent.
Light the torch, take the gold. Ignore the books. Hopefully this is the last battle. We're gonna go ahead and pop resistances on those three, and I forgot to reorganize my party. That's not great, but we do have Shadow Step, so that'll work. But we don't have his anti-venom, which is going to be very dangerous for us. Good resistance. Eat your dog biscuit and kill one of these backline, please. Thank you. Alright, good resistance again. We might be able to kill two with one blow if we're lucky. After him, and they keep hitting him too. Oof. Alright, one more down. One more to go. And we survived.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
Stun resistance. He can move the debuff. We'll take those. And we'll actually remember to use our key. Unfortunately, I think we're going to have to abandon the quest. We do not have the ability to continue any further in this dungeon, which means before we do that, we should put out the lights.
Darkness closes in, haunting the hearts of men.
Okay. A bounty hunter. Got a trinket. Some more gold and some more busts. So unfortunately, we're going to have to abandon this quest. That means we're not going to get the portraits, I think, that we... or the gold that we had come in for. And all of these guys are going to take a little bit of stress, which is unfortunate. But that also means that we get to keep all of this loot. So I think we more than made up for the lack of completing the quest with all of the money that we're going to make. But there's no way we're going to continue with this party without losing multiple members. And while it wouldn't be that big a deal if we did lose multiple members, I'm just not sure it's worth continuing. Let me think about that for a moment, though. Do we want to give up all of this loot for a chance at a little bit more? Because that's really the main thing we're looking at. We're going to give up everything we have here for a chance at a little bit more. No, I think we're going to take what we have and call it a day.
Ignorance of your enemy and of yourself will invariably lead to defeat.
So unfortunately, we're going to miss out on the trinket, but we ended up picking up two or three trinkets in that. We're also going to miss out on the portraits and the gold. But notice how much money we collected. So even though we didn't get this reward, we did collect quite a bit more than the last quest. And part of that had to do with the fact that we were running a lower light run, unintentionally, but still. And then we just got lucky on some of our rolls and stacks. So that worked out okay. Alright, so this is a really bad trait for a Houndmaster who also has a lot of stress. We may end up ditching him. Minus 10% stress healed is whatever. And these guys are all at pretty mild amounts of stress right now. If we get a good dungeon with a healer, we should be able to get through that without having to camp so early, and we could remove a lot of that stress. So I'm not too worried about using those guys again. This guy may have seen his last adventure already. But we won't get rid of him until we have to.
Trouble yourself not with the cost of this crusade. Its noble end affords you broad tolerance in your choice of means.
So you saw the little halos pop above a bunch of our heroes. Those guys reduced a little bit of their stress. All of your heroes reduce a little bit of stress just by hanging out in town. The ones that you take on a quest obviously don't, and the ones that are engaged in other activities may or may not, depending on what's going on in the town. We finally got the sanitarium unlocked, and this is one of the most important buildings. This building requires busts, and this is why I don't like putting a lot of effort into improving the Abbey, because I think this set of buildings is much more important. The negative quirks can be real hindrances, and the diseases can be real powerful hindrances if you don't have a good way to remove them. The Plague Doctor and also the Grave Robber apparently has a camping skill that can get rid of diseases, which is nice and a much less expensive way to treat diseases if you can. But the quirks are really what you want to deal with, and so upgrading the treatment ward as much as possible, as well as getting discounts, are going to be the things that you want to do. So, that being said, let's take a look at some of our heroes and see if anybody is in need of trinket, or not trinket. Let's take these guys off for a second. Unequip trinkets that are equipped, so we have our trinkets out. Let's go and look at the quests. So the only medium quest that we have is for 6 deeds, which would be nice, and a reasonable ring. But again, our party's probably not strong enough for a medium, or for a veteran level dungeon. So what do we got? Deeds there, and deeds there. Another stun buff, trinket, and healing received from the leper, which we don't have yet. So we'll take a look and see who our latest batch of heroes are. This is perfect. We need a new Vestal. Let's take a look at her and see what she's got. Evasive's not bad. Wield Scrounger is okay. Lower speed when the torch is bright is kind of a pain. And that really doesn't affect us any. So this will work out okay. We're definitely going to pick her up.
A sister of battle, pious and unrelenting.
I do like the Hellion quite a bit. These are really poor positive quirks, and these aren't too terrible negative quirks, so she's pretty neutral at this point. Nothing too exciting, but definitely someone we can throw on a quick quest if
Barbaric
we needed her.
rage and unrelenting savagery make for a powerful ally.
Yeah, and once again, not good traits. Calm is really bad for a straight line damage dealer. The bounty hunters use that way sometimes. That's pretty bad. You want to do the most damage on the first round of combat so you can kill things before they get a chance to act. But we'll take them anyways since we have the room.
The thrill of the hunt. The promise of payment.
And last but not least, another Plague Doctor. Beast Slayer is okay in certain parts of the map, or certain dungeons. Night Blindness is fine since we run pretty bright with our torches, and this one will cause him to grab certain curios. So yeah, he's alright. We'll probably take him on a run or two. So
What
far I
better
haven't seen any
laboratory
heroes
than
that
the
are
blood-soaked
spectacular,
battlefield?
things that we just have that we can lock in traits for. But let's go ahead and sort all of our heroes by class real quick and take a run down. So you can see the heroes that we've taken on the most dungeons have collected a lot of these positive and negative traits. We want to get rid of any of the negative traits and lock in any of the positive ones that are of particular value to us. So let's take a look. On guard adds extra speed and dodge. That's a pretty good one to have, particularly with certain characters. This is not a character I would prioritize it on, but it's one that I definitely wouldn't mind keeping. Manslayer is one that's okay. This is fine. And Wield Scrounger is fine. Or, yeah. So extra scouting chance is always useful. Scouting is very underrated. Probably one of the best things you can get to help you in the early game is one or two characters that are really good at scouting. Just because it makes traversing the dungeon that much easier. It's impossible to get surprised. But we have a couple of bad ones. So Thin Blood, reduced resistance to blight is unfortunate, and this prone to stealing things from me, essentially, is pretty bad. I really want to get rid of that. So we're probably going to go ahead and send him to do that. Again, these are okay, but not great. Nervous is terrible, and Tuckered Out is pretty bad, but we run a light dungeon typically. We run a high light, so this symbol means that it's essentially locked in on the negative side. You can still get rid of negative traits that are locked in, so to speak, but it costs significantly more to do so, which is why you want to run, you want to try to remove these before they get locked in like that. And they won't get locked in unless you run dungeons. So the more dungeons you run, the more chances each one of these will eventually lock themselves in and cost more to remove. We already looked at her. Yeah, I don't think any of these guys. Robust is mediocre. Hard Noggin's pretty useful. Quick Reflexes, that's one that's fantastic. +2 speed is really good. Lurker's not very good. Okay, so just as an example, we'll go ahead and use Dismiss for this little test. And what I'll do is I'll go to the sanitarium, and we're going to go ahead and put him in the treatment ward. Now we have a fair number of busts, so we can go ahead and reduce the cost of the treatment ward by a few.
The front line of this war is not in the dungeon, but rather inside the mind.
Now let's go ahead and grab 3 of those. That's going to reduce the cost of this a lot. And so every time you put a hero in one of these slots, you can do both a positive and a negative. And so it's more time efficient if you can do both. So we're going to lock this one in, and you can see it's quite expensive to lock that in. And then the extra stress versus unholy is kind of problematic since we've been running a lot in the ruins, although that's not necessarily the case anymore. But we'll go ahead and lock this one, knock this one off while we're doing this. Anytime you're going to lock one in, it's a good idea to do this to the other side if you can. Just because once they lock in permanently or with the little skull, they just cost that much more to get rid of. So positive quirks always cost a lot more to lock in than negative ones do to get rid of. So that's going to cost us 6,000, but he's permanently going to have that speed boost, which is really handy for a highwayman. So we'll go ahead and do that. Now that also means that he's going to be out of commission for a week or two. We won't be able to use him for a couple of weeks while he's in that treatment room. Anybody else? fantastic there. Nope. Nope. Yeah, we're just not seeing anything in particular that is exceptional for the class that we have. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up today. We're still sitting on 20,000 gold. We don't want to be spending a lot of gold on upgrading or locking in things on heroes unless they're really, really good traits. Speed's pretty good for a highwayman, so that's probably worth doing. The longer you wait, the more that those are going to cost. So you want to lock them in at low level if possible. If you try to lock them in once you've already leveled up your heroes some, they cost a lot more to lock in. So keep that in mind. But I think that's going to wrap it up for today. We'll continue this series for quite a while because I'm enjoying playing this game quite a bit, and we'll see you next time.